What's up, guys? I'm SaltEMike, and this is your Star Citizen Week in Review for April 13th, 2026. 4.7.1 is officially live, and there's not much there besides a ship sale. Speaking of that, some of my most anticipated ships, the Hull B, is here in that ship sale, and the roadmap surprised me a little bit. All that and more on today's Week in Review. And as always, if this is your first week in review, this is where I take all of the official Star Citizen news each week, put it into one video, and share some of my opinions about it. I also live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/SaltEMike, so stop by and say hi. I always appreciate the YouTube audience kind of able to come and interact with me live. We don't have a sponsor this week, so as always, the best way to support is to enjoy the video, like the video if you did, and subscribe if you haven't yet. Oh, and I do have a little more merch store link down below, and that is a big help. But with that out of the way, let's jump into some of the patch notes. All right, pretty short section this week. We're going to start out with Hotfix Central, and all this consists of is some stability fixing and noting the maintenance that went on to deliver 4.7.1. So there are really no bug fixes or significant things to super point out to you, but the Hotfix channel is open at the time of recording. And just a note, I do have to record this on Saturday afternoon because of a family obligation, so this may have changed by the time you've seen this, and it might be pushed to live. And yeah, on Wednesday, we've had significant downtime, and eventually we're able to jump into the new patch. That new patch, again, is 4.7.1. So unfortunately, this doesn't have any major improvements really, or any major gameplay issues around crafting resolved. 4.7.1 is their funding patch, I guess, for 4.7. If they're going to do two, one of them is bound to be their ship sale one, I guess. It seems fine to me. This drops both the UTV and the Hull B, as we'll talk about them a little bit more in a little bit more detail in just a bit, right? So not too much on them just yet. The next section does look like an attempt to resolve people's issues with breaker stations, which the juice just never felt like it was worth the squeeze, at least for me. At the time of recording, I have not tried this, but I will before this video is completely edited and out. So I will add footage to this to show what the rewards kind of look like after a run or two. I just think the team shouldn't make too many drastic changes to loot or material drops until they add loss, insurance systems, and a proper marketplace mechanic. Right now, we just don't have the right motivations for crafting just yet, only for ourselves, but soon I could see that being for others. Now, that's all we have for the patch notes. Let's jump into roadmap updates, where we hear a lot more about 4.8. Now, before we get into 4.8, we have to start out with 4.7 cards. All they did was add the UTV and the Hull B, the ships that were added to 4.7.1. More on them again in a little while. For 4.8, the first card that we see is now official. These are added to the roadmap for 4.8 for now. I think many of us expected these to be instanced and after Siege of Orison, not before. But the way they're doing the breaker stations, I can see this working just fine without instancing for now. Maybe they have one that's contested and one that's not, or just none contested at all, and you have your exclusive location. But it will work much better when they can limit the max party size or something like that when instancing is available. Let me know what you guys think of that personally. I think kind of that's something that I would want to see at places like breaker stations or QV stations, ASD locations, and more. It could be fun to kind of design it around a group of 5 or a group of 10 or a group of 20, but it also could really suck because people could feel left out. So let me know what you think about that one. We also had some new hairstyles being added to 4.8. One of them is absolutely the direction that I seem to be headed, which is depressing. The defend location is next. And lastly, kind of that's a similar situation to what we saw at breaker stations, where they had the general missions that were there, but without the puzzle type aspects of it. So this looks like the strike group locations, but with missions at them. And then we also have a nice little look at what the plasma grenade looks like, but nothing will really matter until we throw it and see it explode and see what the result is. So much more interested in how it works than how it looks. Speaking of how things look, let's move into video updates next. 4.8 All right, and this is the proper behind the ships for the Hull B, not the April Fool's version. Of course, we have to start out with what CIG thinks the Hull B is and how it stacks up.
The Hull B is our premium medium freight ship in the universe. It's capable of carrying a significant amount of cargo between stations within a system or across multiple solar systems.
It sits between the Hull A, which is kind of your entry into the cargo hauling profession, and the Hull C, which is kind of big, serious, interstellar cargo hauling runs.
In terms of scaling and role, the Hull B is closer to the Hull A in terms of gameplay flow and mechanics, without the challenges of the more complicated setup and flow of the Hull C.
I find the last comment to be kind of funny and worth talking about, I guess, the most. The Hull C style of gameplay seems to resonate a lot more with people because of the lack of complication, even though he's talking about it being overly complicated. So you have to assume he's talking about all the bugs and how it never works and maybe the setup internally for the game developer side. But I don't know a ton of people that don't love the idea of just grabbing the cargo and going and the journey being the thing. I know a ton of people that don't love the idea of moving boxes constantly and it not being about the journey. So hopefully they kind of get this feedback and start addressing it at some point. Next, they show the new spindle / the grid of the ship, and it's pretty awesome.
Much like the rest of the Hull series, it has a compacting and extending spindle in the center section that allows the ship to have a smaller silhouette and shape when not carrying cargo, and then expanding out to carry the maximum amount of cargo.
It's quite a marvel of engineering in how much spindle and cargo grid we've managed to fit into such a small space when it's collapsed.
It holds 512 SCU of cargo, up to 1632 SCU crates. You can either load the cargo manually with handheld tractor beams, or the co-pilot has access to 2 front-facing remote tractor beam turrets in order to load cargo from within the vehicle.
I love this. Almost 0 notes. Honestly, for me, I personally would have none, but I feel like we have to make sure that I let you know how this works. The grids are in their own little sections, so you cannot cross over these sections, so they are only 2 SCU wide. So you can do 16 SCU, 24 SCU, 32 SCU, and horizontally, but vertically you cannot place a 16 SCU. The max is 8 because those are just 2 SCU wide, but horizontally, again, you can go up to 32 SCU. So important note there that you cannot make like horizontal or plus versions of the ship. So it is limited in some ways, right, for loading. Next, in the following clip, we hear how they came up with the new grid style.
When it was first announced, it was promised to be able to land with its full capacity of cargo. However, over time, the cargo system changed, the design of ships have changed. And when you look at the Hull A and the Hull C, they have a sort of cross arrangement. And doing this for the Hull B and the stated amount of cargo that we had said at the start, it just simply couldn't land without having the most comical, super long, gangly legs. So from that point onwards, we went back to concept, had multiple iterations of different cargo arrangements to suit the new capacity. And we settled on moving from the cross arrangement to rotating it 45 degrees into the X arrangement you see today.
And it still looks really good when it's open or closed, but it's still able to hold all of its cargo when landed.
Now, I don't think I'm alone in saying this. I hope the grid style is brought to the rest of the Hull series, because the plus style is just unfamiliar to me in terms of real-world cargo ships, but the diagonal is the exact opposite. It really looks like a cargo ship, and I absolutely love it. I want to see what the Hull C looks like with this type of grid. Comment below if you agree. CIG, I know it will take extra effort. I know you don't need to do it now, but I would love for you to say, you know what? We love this so much. We plan on doing this for the rest of the series, including the Hull C at some point. Don't have to do it now. Then we get a look at the interior of the ship.
You walk into the entrance area, which has our 2 suit lockers, a weapon locker, and a small bench to prepare yourself for leaving the ship. Coming up the personnel lift, to your left is a door to engineering. This houses most of the major components for the ship and the engineering screen.
center stage in there is the big mechanism that allows the ship to retract and extend its cargo grid.
Heading to your right from the personnel lift, you walk into the main corridor. This is the main thoroughfare of the ship. This also houses some of the other components. To one side is a mess hall.
You have a 2-seat table and a kitchenette.
On the opposite side of the corridor is the habitation area.
When you get in, you have like a bunk bed on your left, nice desk with its fridge and some shelves. You also have on the right space on the wall to hang up posters.
Yeah, all that's pretty standard. It feels really nice and comfortable for the 2 people that are kind of needed to run the ship. I guess this is giving the Freelancer series a sign that it should have a lot less seats and beds one day. If 2 people can run this, you don't need 4 in the Freelancer, right? And lastly, they finally nailed the MISC cockpit.
As you enter into the bridge of the ship, as soon as you walk in, you know you're in a MISC ship. I know the MISC dashboards can be a little bit divisive. Maybe, on some of our previous ships, we maybe pushed the size of the dashboard a little bit too far, so it was something that we were quite conscious of with the whole B. But we have pushed the pilot and the co-pilot seat further forward, so you're kind of sat more into that letterbox, just to give you better visibility out.
Pushing us a little bit forward is perfect. You get the style of MISC without the negatives of it, like with the I guess the Starfarer is probably one of the worst ones in the whole sea, right? Again, this means we need to see the rest of MISC ships kind of work this way. I love MISC ships, but the cockpits can definitely be a bit annoying. That was our video updates. We do have a pretty beefy section of other updates, so let's head over to that. And of course, we start out with a sneak peek. This sneak peek is pretty obvious, and the caption of "Take Command" should make it more clear if you are still confused. This is either the command module on the Caterpillar or the Ironclad. I kind of hope they shared the same module, to be honest, but looking closer, I think this is the Caterpillar module as it has a turret, and I don't recall seeing a turret on the module for the Ironclad concept. So let me know what you guys think about that one. Moving on, subscriber promotions. This is one of the good promotions in terms of balanced rewards. The $10 sub gets the blue version of the Skull holographic helmet, while the $20 subs gets that helmet plus a weapon case with a pistol in it. Again, knowing what we know about insurance now, this pistol will never break. Pay to win or pay to not lose. Same thing to me. I hate this. And then, of course, they offer a pack with both of them in it. And something I don't usually cover and just kind of forget to, for some reason, is the ships of the month for subs. The Anvil Hawk is for $10 subs, and the $20 subs get the Hawk plus the Cutlass Blue. And yeah, more sale stuff. Captains of Industry sale. This was their big event, I guess, for the 4.7.1 thing. Like I said earlier, if they're going to do a little mini Invictus every patch or every once in a while, I don't see it as a horrible thing. I generally see ship sales as horrible things, but we know those aren't going anywhere. Nothing really special here to share with you outside of just, yeah, selling some ships, white and blue paints. They're cool, but there is a free fly. So I guess the 2 things of note here are that, well, I guess there's multiple things of note, but there's other 2 things that are important here. The Hull E can now be upgraded to, which it never was possible before. So maybe after the B, they're pretty comfortable with what the whole series is going to look like. And now they're comfortable doing more stuff with the Hull E. I wouldn't think too much about this other than it being a huge money grab. I don't expect to see them working on the ship like that anytime soon. So right now, you'd literally just be buying a JPEG, so up to you if you want to do that. And 2, Pioneer. We haven't heard much about this in terms of development lately, actually. I think this was a ship we were expecting to see at some point this year, probably, right? And I am sure bots scooped up their little Pioneer sale that they had this week, and yeah, to sell for profit later. And oh yeah, one more thing, there was a little Golem package for $65 with a max lift and the armor to match here. So that was the Captains of Industry thing. Obviously, it's a pretty industrially focused patch, so sell some industrial ships, I guess. There's also a giveaway going on from CLX. This is one situation where I figured I should just mention it to you guys. CIG is combining with CLX to do a PC giveaway. But it's one of those Gleam giveaway things where you have to do, like, jump through a million hoops just to get some tickets to get into this. Not my style personally, but good luck to anyone who wants to enter. It will be linked down below. The Grey Cat UTV sale is next. I don't have much to say about this. Ground vehicles are weird as they don't make a ton of sense in the game yet. This one kind of fits for a bunker runner maybe, but that playstyle has largely been killed for now, with the ability for it to kind of come back quite strong with dismantling becoming more of a thing. So fitting a 1 SU box on the back of this, fitting a lot of weapons in there, who knows, might play a role. If it, of course, has a number of paints that come with it, but more importantly, the price is $35 if you want to add new money and $40 if you use any amount of store credit. I would never spend that kind of money on something like this, but it might be a must-buy in-game when it makes it in. Then the Miss Colby, the big sale. We already saw the ship a lot in the video updates section, so I'm going to focus on the important information coming out of the sale page, and that is two things: the skins and the price. The skins are okay. I prefer black ships, but MISC ships never look good with black paint for some reason. So my favorite here is probably the United Resource Workers one, the blue and the white. Price-wise, it is obviously insane at $260. And that's with just new money, and $280 if you want to use any store credit. But CIG has created the market value and people pay it. It does fit in line with other ships in its class like the Caterpillar at $295, but it's massively cheaper than the C2, which is around $400. They probably need to reduce the price of that ship at this time, because the C2 kind of sucks as a cargo ship. And I guess it has ramps for vehicles, and that's, I don't know, man. That price point is horrible now. I would never buy a C2. Miss Colby Q&A is next. They discuss first the mass changes with the spindle, so it does change with its mass, which is kind of interesting. And then, yes, the next thing of note here is that the tractor beam is functional from the pilot seat. We heard earlier in SCL that it is not, or behind the ships that it is not. It is meant to be functional from the tractor beam, or the tractor beam is meant to be functional from the cockpit as well as on the Hermes. And that is a bug that they're going to fix eventually. So this can be soloed. Hangar size is the next one. It fits in a medium, and it fits in a medium when expanded. This was asked on videos of the ship that I posted recently. I tried to answer as many of them as I could. Yes, it fits really well when expanded. You can reach kind of the front section of the cargo ship on one side of the hangar, and then you can reach the rear on the other side. It works kind of well. And then, yeah, other things of note here are just two things. Again, it can hold 32 SCU containers, in case you didn't know, but the big thing here is it has a massive quantum travel tank of 5.7. So 5,700 or whatever, however we see it in the game, it is a lot. I did a lot of traveling and never even had to think about fuel, so that's kind of huge here. Big plus for the ship. That will do it for this week's Week in Review. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I enjoy making this show every week. And yeah, leave a like if you did. Check out the links down in the description, because that's where I put all of the sources for what we cover every week. I think that that's kind of a big difference for what we do here at Week in Review. I guess that's a weird way of saying things, but yeah, it's very important that I source the stuff, that I'm not just making it up, and that I show you the gameplay footage when I experience these things. So I'm, again, not making anything out of thin air or just speculating completely. It comes grounded in some reality. But thank you so much for watching, guys. Maybe a show next week. My cousin is getting married. I'm going to visit them, so we're gonna. Yeah, we'll see. I'm gonna try, but no guarantee on a show next week. So make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, comment down below on anything we discussed, and I'll catch you guys all maybe next week.